Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to talk about wetlands, how to avoid them, what to do if you find land or you're interested in buying some land that has wetlands on it, and how to handle these situations. So let's get to it. If you guys have not already, please hit the subscribe button below. We're constantly putting out educational video to help you guys grow your land business, your land knowledge. So first off, what is a wetland? A wetland is an area of land where there is water on the soil or just beneath the soil. It doesn't necessarily have to be standing water, but the soil is typically moist, which is caused by the wetlands. Wetlands differ from floodplains in a few ways. So one, there is standing water a lot of times on wetlands, where a floodplain is a chance of flooding. It is a big difference in the two. On the coast of Florida, you might see beautiful mansions, beautiful hotels, everything like that. All that could be in a floodplain, but I promise you those are not going to be in wetlands 99% of the time. Wetlands are much more difficult to be built on. There are several types of wetlands. Here you can see, this is on the EPA's website. You can see the definition and then the categories of wetlands. Essentially, coastal and inland is how they are categorizing them. They're much more detailed categories of wetlands in different areas, which we will get into later. So let's go over to id.land, look at wetlands on the map, and then let's kind of talk about land with it and what we need to do if we get land that has these wetlands on them. So let's go over id.land. We're going to create a map. Instead of going to Florida where all the wetlands are, let's go to South Carolina. And we'll go over to like the Charleston region where you do have a lot of wetlands. So we have Charleston down here. I'm just going to zoom in here, and I'm going to put on my overlays. First, I'll put on floodplain so you guys can see. I got to scroll in a little more for that to register. So floodplain, I'm going to take that off. Floodplain again. Floodplain and wetlands can for sure overlap. And when I hit wetlands here, you'll see a lot of the wetlands overlaps with the floodplain. They can also both be separated. So there's not going to be all floodplains are not going to be wetlands. All wetlands are not going to be floodplains. So let's take off the floodplain, and we are just going to find a few different wetlands properties. We'll look around, I don't know, around a more urban area, but I want to find some smaller parcels as well that we can evaluate. Let's go around Lake Moultrie up here because I'm familiar with this area somewhat. Just rotated the map on accident. And let's look at some of these parcels. So starting off, let's just start with a very basic wetland parcel. So you have something like this. And when you actually click the wetlands, you can get some information on them as well on id.land, which is cool. So if I hit convert to map feature, so looking at this parcel, these wetlands are going to affect the parcel a little bit. But when you have, let's see how many acres this is. This is 31 acres, and you might have 5, 6, 7 acres in wetlands. This is a beautiful parcel. Do not get concerned when you see things like this. Get boots on the ground, get eyes on the wetlands, everything like that. But don't be concerned about minimal wetlands on land. Well, let's go over to a couple more, maybe something that's smaller. So let's go to something like this. And we have wetlands on here, obviously. And this is the majority of the parcel. It looks like it actually might be built on. So it's not built on. So if you get a deal like this under contract, and this is, it's not pulling up the acreage, but let's look at the boundary. It's saying 4 acres right here. So you can see it's saying 4 acres. When you get parcels like this, guys, I hate to say it, but you have this sliver that's not in wetlands. If this is all standing water, wetlands are very difficult to build on. Typically you have to get federal approval, federal permitting on this stuff. And then beyond the permitting part, you also have the structure eroding, driveways. All that stuff is more difficult to build, and buyers are not looking for these types of parcels. If you get deals like this back, unless it's some great duck hunting property or something like that, toss it. All right, let's go over one more. Let me just look around a little bit and see what we can find. I think this is a pretty solid one. So let's pull up this one. This might be about 75% wetlands, to be honest. Let's pull up the boundary and see what we have. So we have 93 acres, quite a bit of wetlands. Like this is a good portion. This might be 70, 75 of the acres are wetlands, but you do have some dry area in here, which could be potential for a building spot with some hunting ground behind it. That's what I kind of view when I see properties like this. But let's go to one other site and just double check the wetlands, because what can kill this deal is if ID.land's wetland mapper is off and this property is wetter than what it appears on here. So you also want to get boots on the ground. So you want to get either a realtor, a drone photographer to go through a property like this, at least walk through these supposed dry areas and make sure it is not wetter than what it appears. So I'm going to go over to this map. I'll link this in the description below so you guys can have this. This is just a different way to look at wetlands. It has a little more information. This is built for wetlands. You can see National Wetlands Inventory. Okay, so we need to locate where we are. The thing that is not fun about this map is there's no easy way to search through the address. So we're going to have to actually go in here and find exactly where we are. Give me a minute and I will get this up. All right, so I have located our land. It's right in this general region. And the hard thing with this National Wetland Mapper is it does not have parcel boundaries. It does not have road names. Maybe there's a way to get it. I couldn't figure that part out, but there's no road names. There's no parcel boundaries. So it can be a little difficult to find your land. But our land is right in this general region. It goes from this and then comes down and around here a little bit. I'll pull up on Land ID real fast so you can see. So you can see those two structures right there, goes all the way up this dirt road and then goes on the main road a little bit. So what I wanna do here, and again, just like this, then goes around. What I wanna do here is compare the wetlands. So pulling up this wetlands and then going back to here. Honestly, ID.land looks like it has a little more wetlands than this. I trust, like if I was to trust one of the sources, I would trust this National Wetlands Inventory map a little more. But our land goes all the way up here. The thing about it is this is our buildable spot without a doubt. This could be swampish. It can be hunting land. We're not sure exactly. But the cool thing about this wetlands mapper is you can actually click into each part of these wetlands. So this is 0.73 acres, freshwater forested shrub wetland, and you can see which part, like it's that little part that it is pulling up right here. This is that part. You click the bigger part. Okay, this is 44.55 freshwater forested shrub, and then how this is classified. You can look all these things up. You can get a ton of information. Wetlands are very, very protected land. They help our habitat. They help wildlife. So there is a ton of information on them. You can go to the description on these, see exactly what's going on, and really understand the land, the wetlands that you are buying, if you have some wetlands on it, before you actually make that purchase. So going back into this on ID.land, based on everything I've looked at, you want to get this parcel at a slight discount. Like you do not want to pay $50,000 if market value is showing $100,000, because this is going to hurt market value in my opinion. It might sell at 80%. It's not going to sell at 30% of market value or anything like that. But I think you could buy this for about 40% of market value and sell it for about 80% of market value. If that's what you're looking at. If you're looking for land to build a house on, rec land to build a house on and have some land, this is great for it. This is absolutely wonderful. This is obviously just an example. So going in, like when you are buying land in a wetlands area, you want to find out about the region. This is just the type of wetlands in North Carolina. I'm not an expert on North Carolina wetlands, but you can see the different types. So this is more inland forestry wetland. You can have wetlands in mountains, more bay area where you're closer to the water. So many different types of wetlands. So if you are looking to buy land in a certain area, make sure you educate yourself on wetlands, on floodplain, on all those things that can affect the property value of your land. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I don't want to scare you away from land that has 50% wetlands. You can make a ton of money. If we've made a ton of money, we've done a ton of deals on wetland properties, but we do not typically buy properties that are 100% wetlands because of how unusable they typically are. Do your own research on the areas you guys are doing deals in for sure. If you like that video, please comment below on what future videos you would like us to do to help educate you on land investing, everything around land investing. Other than that, please hit the subscribe button below. It really helps us spread the land investing word, helps Daniel and myself grow our community, everything like that. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.